A follow-up question to that to Arnab. Arnab, if you see, a lot of startups who are making losses year on year are becoming unicorns, and startups who have been able to get some profits uh, are struggling to make ends meet in terms of becoming a unicorn. So, as an investor, are you an aggressive investor in terms of burn more cash and get more clients, or what kind of investor are you?
Okay, let me answer this in two parts. Okay, let's talk about the startups making losses, yet their value is going up. Okay, so we were taught finance on company existence from a fiduciary responsibility. A company is valued from their monetization or the financial point of view. Traditionally, like if you go on 20 years back or even more than that. But there's a new kind of valuation which has come in, which is the users that they attract. Recently had a session at an amazing session with Professor Ashwath Damodaran, and he is known as the god of valuation. And he said something very interesting. He said, are the startups aiming towards changing the behavior of the people or not? If a startup is aiming very big, that they want changing the behavior of the people, and that will take a lot of money to do that. People do not change. We by default, humans are very resistant to change. But if we can change the behavior of the masses, we will see traditional businesses would not have the economies of scale to sustain their business anymore. So even if the people who are laggards in that technology or in that space would be forced to join the new bandwagon. Let's be honest. Next time you are going from somewhere to somewhere and you do not have a car of your own, you would you actually book a Kali Pili taxi? Probably not. Next time you want to order from a restaurant, we call them up and say, "Can you deliver?" And they say, "We don't have delivery guys because everything is done from Swiggy, Zomato, and the et al." Uh, next time you want to text somebody, you don't do SMS, you do WhatsApp. So these companies have changed the behavior of the people, which is a huge thing. There is a lot of hoopla about cred having losses a lot of money, but I'll give you the example of why it is relevant out here. Cred has attracted the top income people of India as their database. Now, what they do with the data, they are talking about lending platforms. They can do several things with that. They can actually replace credit cards. So what do they do as a startup founder is the strategy that they're going to take. And it might fail or it might not work. So, yes, the valuation is not for today, but for tomorrow. If you look at futures and options or derivatives, it's not a value of today, but the demand of tomorrow. If a commodity has a certain demand, you're expecting a shortage of a commodity in the future, your F&O options will go up by default. If you're looking at a company's performance in the future, their yield will go up. Equity is based on the speculation. So let's not confuse the factors. Like a typical valuation of a net worth is not applicable anymore for startups, especially when you're going the behavior. But as Abhishek said, there's a lot of other investors also joining the bandwagon, and there's a lot of startups joining the bandwagon who are not really creating a future value or a behavioral change, but simply using the hype of the media to push their valuation up. And that is normalized. Flipkart changed the way we do shopping, but even Flipkart's valuation was one third overnight by Goldman Sachs. So normalization would come in. But yes, there is nothing wrong in not having a profit but has a valuation. But obviously, it is all about the execution in the future, whether the behavioral pattern is changed. Me as an investor is on the other kind altogether. Uh, I am not a traditional investor. I'm a very, very early stage investor. I'm looking at very, very innovative tech, something which can be applied and changed and can be applied in Indian market. I'm looking at hardware, IoT, software tech, especially in that way, because that's something I understand. And I am looking at them at a very early stage where my knowledge and my guidance is a value to them. After that, obviously, there'll be the first round of investment. I come in pre-revenue. I probably would come in pre-POC as well. I would probably look at a bunch of brilliant people who needs money to do their MVP. I would help them out with creating their MVP and POC. So I am not even a so-called a typical investor in the investors cycle. I am before that, and that's why I am not really would call myself investor, because I do not invest just to make money out of it. It is about creating the value on top of it, and it can be somehow integrated with the value systems that we have inside the organization as well. And furthermore, given the fact that we have a lot of services which are very synergetic to a startup's life cycle, we can help them do a great pitch. We can help them in marketing and branding. We can help them in creating amazing web presence. We can help them with their business plans. We can help them getting their products prepared. We can help them getting their first clients. We can get introduced to the investors. All of this can be given to the startup itself without actually me trying to hassle around the world. So trying to just utilizing the existing infrastructure, existing processes and people that we have to help few more people who are not fortunate enough to have the fund to access these from a professional angle.
Sounds good, Arnav. That's a great tip and a great message that you have given.